on my right is Mrs. O'Neill. I suspect a number of you know her. You may not know that much about her background and about the work she does. I was fascinated to learn when I first got to know her that she and her husband decided that avocationally they really enjoyed working with sports leagues. And so just sort of out of their garage, they just developed a sports program. And it is really through that experience that she came to MBA. She got to know Coach Anglin and a few others, and she decided to leave the healthcare world where she was and to come here and to develop, pioneer some programs in this building. So please join me in welcoming her to the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Gioia, and good morning and happy Monday to everyone. So I'd like to start off by asking two questions. First, what do you see when you see me, and what are your first impressions? I don't need you to answer it out loud, but I do want you to think about that as I share some insight into who I am and why I'm here. So I'm a native of a country called Trinidad, which is a small island off the coast of South America. My nationality is one of many cultures, as my father is African American and Hispanic, and my mother is white and Indian. We migrated to New York when I was 3, to Florida when I was 6, and then here to Tennessee when I was 9. Growing up in such varying places, I was not always around people that looked like me and found myself asking at an early age, who am I and what is it that I want to be? In my professional career, I've served in a variety of roles within healthcare operations. Most recently with the state of Tennessee as the Assistant Deputy Chief of Programs, Policy, Contracts, and Compliance. Healthcare was a huge learning ground for me. On the one hand, typically I was the only female in the room and most always the only minority and person of color in the room. And on the other hand, I was also blessed to be able to have the opportunity to implement many programs within Tennessee that help our most vulnerable population receive the services and care that they need. While I enjoyed the fast pace of healthcare and the ever-changing life that came with being in healthcare, my heart was never fully into it. I found myself always asking whether or not this is where I really wanted to be and if this is what I was really meant to do. As a mother of 2 boys, sports have always been a part of our lives, even at the age of when my oldest was 3. He was actually invited to try out for a basketball travel team when he was 9 years old, and coincidentally, it was actually here at MBA. During the first year, we were exposed to a side of sports that we never knew existed. We saw both the negative and positive things that youth sports can bring to a child's life, and by year 2, we decided to do something a little different. Taking the good things we saw and intentionally choosing to not do the things that didn't sit right in our hearts, we started our own basketball youth sports program. It actually happened a whole lot, really naturally compared to other things that we had worked on. It quickly became something that we enjoyed both as individuals, but also doing together as a family. Things aligned when it needed to. We made tough decisions when we had to, but it always felt right. While basketball was the focus and was the primary sport we did, it was the relationships, growth, and the impact on the kids' and families' lives that mattered most to us. Running a nonprofit youth basketball program allowed me to meet several new people everywhere that we went. And to my luck, Coach Anglin was one of them. And when the opportunity came at MBA for this program and this role, I was really, really glad that he considered me. Currently, I serve as your Director of Basketball Operations and the Co-Director of Diversity and Inclusion. I work closely with Coach Redmond on a lot of issues and things that go on to help bring awareness, education, and outcomes that will bring us closer together, not only as a school, but as a community. I coordinate all of the non-school related basketball events, which include things like basketball leagues, tournaments, clinics, personal and small group trainings, as well as managing the scheduling of the basketball courts, both for internal and external use. We were blessed to host our first tournament last summer and our league, and we are currently in the middle of our winter league where over 600 kids come to play every Saturday. I assist in other areas with things like service club, admissions, and logistics in the Wellness Center, but best of all, I get to be a part of a community that serves each of you. I sit on the bottom floor of this building, directly opposite of these bleachers, and my door is always open. Please know that regardless if you play basketball or ever have any basketball needs, I am here to help. I'm here to listen, support, and encourage, and would love for you to stop in anytime. Without knowing my story, it would make no sense as to how I ended up here. I was given much flack and much grief when I resigned from my position at healthcare to come here to a job in the middle of a pandemic to plan events that we never knew if people would be able to come to. Months and even weeks before I started at MBA, I had to admit that I questioned myself on if this was the right decision. This work was not guaranteed, and the pandemic made it even scarier, but I knew in my heart that I had to come here. I knew if I didn't, it would be something I looked back on continuously and regretted not doing. It took less than a month of being here to know and feel confident that I made the right decision, and that's a credit to all of you. The faculty and staff here have always been so welcoming, and while we wear masks on our face, I see the smiles in your eyes when we walk by and the family feeling of everyone supporting one another. Some things that I've learned in my journey over the last several years that I hope that you will keep in mind as you navigate today, tomorrow, and your future. First is always give the best in everything you do. Set your bar high, and then when you reach that goal, set it even higher. Effort goes a long way in different areas of your life. Do not be afraid to work hard and even outwork the person sitting next to you. Don't be afraid to do the right thing, even when it's hard to do. As a mom, I'm sure my sons hear me say a lot of things every single day. But one of the most important things that I hope they remember every day is that I tell them to work hard and give their best. 2, don't judge a book or a person by their cover. Biases are natural. It's a part of human nature. We all create perceptions when we meet and see someone. Having biases are not wrong. It's what you do with them and how you treat others because of them that makes the action right or wrong. Choose to do the right thing. Choose to learn more about the things that are not familiar to you rather than fearing them or hating them because they don't look like what you expect. I had to say that coming to MBA, I had several biases. I wasn't sure whether or not I would fit in, whether I would be accepted, whether I would meet people that shared the same beliefs and thoughts that I'd have. And I am very, very happy to say that my biases were wrong. I have been met with open arms, with acceptance and support, and it has truly felt like a family and it's felt like a home. I'm sure you had biased views when you first saw me, or even seeing me today. But if we all take time to peel away that first level of bias lenses and realize that we are human, we can take the time to get to know each other better and learn how to deal with those biases. Last but certainly not least, my path to where I came today is not what I planned out when I was in high school. The truth is you can be a planner like me and plan out everything, and reality is that curveballs get thrown at you every single day. I encourage you to be fearless. Follow your heart and your passion, and do not be afraid to try. Do not give up when you fail, and always be willing to get up and try again. Thank you.